So I would like to start by saying hello and welcome. It's very exciting to have Hiroko Miyake here as a part of the World Federation of Music Therapy Research Interview Series. And so it's just great to be here with you, because I heard about your research both on Voices, where you've published a journal article, and at the World Federation of Music Therapy Congress. So your international reputation precedes you, and it's really exciting to have you here. I also want to say thank you to Rika Ikuno, who's here as well, helping us out in case we need some communication support. So it's fantastic to have us all here. We should all wave and say hello together.
Hello.
All right, so these are big questions, Hiroko, but the first question for you is what's the role of research, do you think, in your region?
I think it from two dimensions. One is role of research in society outside of music therapy world, and two is role of research in music therapy community. The role of research in society is to answer this role, I have to explain Japanese situation of music therapy. In Japan, music therapy is not a public qualification for health and welfare service. Japanese Music Therapy Association, JMTA, has been qualifying for music therapists. Now, JMTA is trying to build a social position of music therapy by encouraging research that provide evidence in regard to the efficacy and effectiveness of music therapy. But actually, I feel research environment, the method and quality of research have not been mature yet. And there are several answers from respondents on the role of research to contribute to solving social issues such as aging, disabilities, mental health, isolation, social inequality, poverty, and so on. I think these are very important issues, but it is necessary to carefully posit the research viewpoints and methods so as not to fall into a reductionist approach of cause and effect story. And next, role of research in community, music therapy community inside of music therapy world is a medium for the music therapy practitioners to exchange information and learn each other. Currently, JMTA is main academic research organization of music therapy in Japan, and there are many small study groups by music therapists, learning by music therapists in various regions. Music therapy education in Japan is mostly provided in undergraduate level that mainly focus on training for practitioners. And there are a few research and educational institutions at postgraduate level. Actually, there is few research community to exchange information and discussion. Therefore, practitioners seem to recognize that research is far from everyday music therapy sessions, and research as some special researcher does. The commitment to research activities, music therapy practitioners' commitment to research activities can play a role in making research communities and linking practice and research of music therapy.
That's so fascinating, Hiroko, because your story is unique and linked specifically to Japanese culture and the development of the profession there. But
Mm-hmm.
it also resonates with me in Australia, and the
Oh.
pressure from government to do one kind of research whilst you don't always agree that that is the most useful research in
Mm.
every situation. So it's fantastic to hear the differences, but also that there's some similarity.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of public institution in which music therapy belongs is not clear yet in Japan. So it may be said that nothing is emphasized, regardless of viewpoint. So, however, there is an atmosphere that objectivistic and quantitative research is immediately recognized in society. That just atmosphere. So such research may respect it.
So when we talk about what the government is interested in and the structure and timeframes that they have for us, that is, of course, a reality that we always try to work with and to communicate between the two different parts. But many people watching the video would be interested in what kind of research you believe is most useful to music therapists, as you mentioned, to bridge the gap between research and practice.
The responded that I interviewed with by email, very various answers are there. Many of them, their opinions are these two. So research to clarify effectiveness of effective intervention methods and techniques of music therapy, and research that directly leads to problem solving for clients and for society and for music therapists. But I think that research, such kind of research is very, very important, but it is also necessary to research that raised various questions on music therapy, that enriching multiple views on one phenomenon. For example, examining when, where, for whom, and how music therapy can be useful and meaningful is important theme for research. I think that this research will open dialogue with people with different positions and backgrounds. And in addition, I think it is necessary to explore the ways that we access to the client's life world and their lived experience. How can we access the client's world and their experience, and to communicate, how to communicate the diversity and richness of the relationships arising there, generating there.
And I suppose it would be good to hear then, Hiroko, about your research and your background as a researcher, so that we can come to understand your position in relation to your opinions about this.
Okay. In my case, the research question always raised in clinical practice. My clinical practice is a basic motivation for my research. In music therapy research, I was involved in about 4 types of research so far. So one is case study research. So I conducted research on people with disabilities, starting from the question to conventional musical and therapeutic viewpoint. And I reconstruct the relationships such as client and therapist, and normal people and disabled people, ability and disability, and so on, and explores the music therapy process in self-reflexive manner. The research theme is to regard people with disability as individuals with their own background, values, culture, and to explore how different socio-cultural beings, clients and therapists, can be together in music therapy process. The research method was on my own method in try and error, with reference to mainly qualitative research, ethnography, episode description study, disability studies, and 当事者研究 in Japanese. So 当事者研究 is a study that the people with disabilities focusing on their own difficulties and disease experience. Their experience are shared with peers to find ways and means to cope with the difficulties.
Great, thank you.
And on community music therapy, I conducted a theoretical and practical research. In theoretical research, I reviewed the philosophy and practices of community music therapy from literatures and discussed what music therapy can be. And in practical research, I conducted a music workshop at a local community house in Tokyo, where various people visit, from baby to elderly, foreign resident, and so on, and explored community making and music activities where diverse people live together. So, because I wanted to know more about how diverse people with different backgrounds can be together and coexist through music therapy, music activities. So, and self-ethnographic study as a music therapist. I looked back at my experience that sociocultural identity had been formed and how it is reflected in my current work, including awareness of privilege and oppression. Sometimes self-reflection or critical thinking of music therapist is accompanied by a sense of guilty. But I think it is very important because not only to protect the client's right, but also contribute to create new values and cultures in society, our society, where diverse people can be together. I participate in a research project of music therapist group, Nobana Noza, as a member. So the project theme was expressing the clinical process in my own words, how our clinical practice was applied, what it is capable of, what we want to achieve, and how to develop it further. Members reflect on an important episode in their own clinical experience, and then by sharing and dialoguing with other members, and they can explore what is the core of our clinical practices.
Thank you for your humility in reflecting on the possible flaws in your research methods, because I think any good researcher knows that no research is perfect, and that to be humble and to recognize the limitations and the positions that you invariably adopt when you do research is the mark of an excellent researcher. That shows great wisdom, actually, to question one's own practice, as we do as music therapists also, always wondering if we're being helpful in any way. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, Rika, for your ongoing mentorship It really is extraordinarily, it's a gift to have people who are willing to support emerging bright minds of the future.